Welcome back. You're watching Credlin. We've been talking a lot lately, haven't we, about the issue of transgender athletes in women's sport. Indeed, it's become a central campaign issue following the PM's decision to install Catherine Deves as Liberal candidate in Warringah, given her advocacy in this area as a co-founder of the organisation Save Women's Sport. Now, the politicians have been joined in the debate today and yesterday by women at the coalface, female athletes who don't see this through the prism of transgender rights, but their right to fairness. Highly decorated Olympians like swimmers Emma McKeon and four-time gold medallist Dawn Fraser. Tonight we'll also hear from Emily Seebohm, a champion swimmer herself, winning gold and bronze at last year's Tokyo Olympics. But as evidence of how much this debate puts at risk hard-won sporting gains for women is the fact that while Emily won her Olympic bronze in the 200 metres backstroke with an impressive time of 2 minutes, 6.17 seconds, that time would not have even qualified her in the semi-finals race in that same distance in the men's competition, with the time for the men's backstroke, the 200 metre champion, at 1 minute, 55.9, 45 seconds, meaning it's not a question about talent, dedication or training, it's just simple biology. Australian Olympic champion Emily Seebohm joins me now from Brisbane. Thank you for your time, Emily. I know this isn't an easy issue, but it just comes down to fairness and no more, doesn't it?
100%. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's such an interesting conversation, and it's a conversation that we need to get started sooner rather than later. As we can see, transgender athletes are joining in on the fun that we have in our sport, and we just need to make sure that we have the rules in place to let that happen in all fairness to every athlete that's competing, whether they're biologically female or biologically male. There's a difference. There is a difference. We can see that with times, and we can see that throughout history. That's always been the case, that biological males are always going to be stronger, fitter, faster than biological females, and we just need to work out how we can all come together in this sport.
Of course, we've got the issue in their 20s and beyond, where athletes might transition. They may, in the case of Leah Thomas, be taking testosterone suppression treatment. But in her example, she had the benefit of a male puberty, and her times were phenomenal times that were far in front of female competitors. I ran through your times then in Tokyo, and there's such a disparity between your bronze medal and the men's race. So how confident are you that the sporting administrators are taking this seriously and are planning for the future?
Yeah, well, I mean, nothing has happened yet. We need to have heaps of conversations to make sure that this issue is at the forefront, because we're only going to see more transgender athletes come into sport, which we obviously want our sport to be so inclusive to everyone. I love my sport and I want to share that with everyone in the world, but we need to make sure that we have this level playing field, because when it comes to an Olympic race, we want to see neck and neck results. We don't want to see someone winning by 10 seconds.
And you're not going to have young girls get into the pool or on the netball court or any other sport if they think by the time they spend, as you guys do, 15, 20 years trying to get to the top of their field, they're going to be outgunned by men who cross over later in life.
Yeah, we want to see that fairness in sport. We want to see women in sport. We want to see them playing sport, and we don't want to put them at a disadvantage thinking that they've already lost when they haven't even got out there yet. So we need to make sure that we have something in place for later on, because this is only going to become more and more relevant in our sport. It's going to happen more and more, and we're going to see more transgender athletes in sport. So we need to make sure that we have rules and regulations in place so we can all feel comfortable getting out there and putting on our togs and getting in the pool and racing, knowing that everyone's at that same level.
Dawn Fraser supports your position. She says, though, there should be transgender competitions, that you have to keep the competition for women, for biological women, and the same with the competitions for men. Is that something you could support?
Yeah, the government and the sporting organisations need to have something in place. We need to have it sooner rather than later so everyone can join our sport. Our biological females and our biological males have their events, and if that means that we need a transgender section, then we have that, and we have that inclusion for them to join the sport, and we have it so it's fair for every other athlete too, because there's nothing worse than years and years of training and it just been thrown away because someone was biologically fitter, stronger, faster than you.
I was reading comments online. I listened to a lot of radio the last couple of days, and this has been a pretty angry debate in some quarters. But the moment that you and the fellow swimmers, champions from Tokyo and Dawn Fraser, spoke up, it really changed the conversation. You've done it respectfully, but this is what it's about. It's about athletes who are in these positions putting their voice into the debate.
Exactly. We're not saying no. We're not saying we don't want them a part of our sport. We do. We want everyone to be a part of our sport. But our sport also has to be fair. Just like there's drugs in sport, we have to make sure that we have the same rules for everyone else. We all need to be on that level playing field, and we need to make sure that happens soon.
We shouldn't be scared of the debate. Emily, you've conducted it very well tonight. Please keep it up. I know you've got a lot of support there in the Australian community. Thank you for your time. Emily Seebohm there, Olympic bronze medalist, gold medalist as well. There you go, that's a lesson in how you conduct a respectful debate, isn't it?